John Cottrell here of MBODY Yoga, and this is Soft Flow Yoga. Thanks for joining me. For our practice today, we're going to be focusing on some twisting postures. I really enjoy twisting postures because they can do so much. Physically, they can help to condition our core, but also internally can help with some digestion and also some detoxification. So let's get into it. So our practice today will need some props. I always like to use a couple of yoga blocks and something soft to sit on. So I've got my blanket. So if you've got a blanket or a towel or even another yoga mat that you can roll out on top of your original mat, that's great. And then maybe another big cushion or pillow just as an option, just for something to sit on if you'd like, or it might be of assistance when you come to Shavasana. So I've got my bolster here. So as we begin our practice, we like to sit up nice and tall. Just feel the well-extended spine. What I like to do sometimes is actually use my hands just to press into the floor, pushing down in order to feel this elevation through the upper body, a lifting and a lengthening, and see if you can maintain that length in the spine. But otherwise, you can just have your arms relaxed in your lap. Let's take a couple of deep breaths. Nice full breath in, and exhale through the mouth. Let's do that again. A nice full breath in and exhale. Then just settle into slow, steady breaths here. Just mindful breathing. Very good. I like to think of this as a meditative moment, a breathing meditation, an opportunity to get well in tuned with yourself, to reconnect, let go of the things that are going on outside of you so you can pay attention to what's going on inside of you. Slow, steady breaths. You want to breathe in a way where you can feel your breath. So you might even feel how the inhale or the air rises up to fill your lungs. And as you exhale, as you're able, draw your belly button in towards your spine. A little pulling action. This is part of that core conditioning and strengthening of the body. It also helps to support our bodies as we sit up nice and tall. And listen to the sound of your breath. Breathe in a way where you can just hear that soft movement and sound of the breath, as if there was an ocean tide rolling in onto the shore. And of course, you can do this with your eyes opened. And if they are open, just take a soft gaze forward or downward at the ground, or certainly close your eyes. That really helps you to move inward. Continue with your slow, steady breaths. In a moment, we'll add a very simple movement to this breath, our moving meditation. So first, just take 3 more breaths. When you're ready to move, inhale and extend your arms out and up, all the way towards the ceiling. And just treat it like a nice stretch, an extra reach here at the top. Then exhale, extend your arms out, reaching as if you're going to touch the walls on either side of you. Then bring your arms back down to your side. Again, inhale, sweep your arms out, then all the way up as if you're going to touch the ceiling. Energy through your hands and fingers. Exhale, reaching out and back down. And just keep moving and breathing at your own pace. You don't have to follow me exactly. Just listen and respond to your own body and breath. And as you're moving, just notice the sensations in your body as you're moving. Good extension of the arms, feeling that good energy. Movement of your shoulders, allowing you to move your arms up and down. Keep the good energy in your hands and fingers, reaching all the way through. And also pay attention to the sides of your body. Since we'll be doing some twisting, we'll be doing some lengthening through the sides. So as you reach up, feel how all this part, the sides of the body, feel well extended. All right, finish the breath that you're on and take 2 more. Moving at your own pace. And when you feel complete, you can just bring your arms back down by your side, hands can rest in your lap, and just pause, come back to stillness. Let's move into our first twist. I'm going to break it down for you. As we did at the beginning, we want to make sure we have that well-extended spine. I use both my hands to press into the floor and sit up as tall as can be. We're going to do that as we prepare for twists. Think of your spine and all the links in that chain, all up and down. That's the vertebra, up and down the spine. So we want to make sure we've got good space up and down the spine. We don't want to feel compressed or collapsed. That's why we want to feel that nice lengthening. We certainly want to have that spaciousness as we rotate or twist. So I'm going to try to mirror you. So take your right hand and place it either kind of by your side or even slightly behind you. And just kind of prop up onto your fingertips. I just call that my spider's legs there. And just push into the floor to help maintain the length of the spine. And that's a nice inhale. And exhale, draw belly button in. Now just present your left hand, just have it out and ready to go. Here we go, we're going to inhale, press into the floor with the hand behind you, sit up as tall as you can, nice lengthened spine. As you exhale, pull belly button in and start to rotate a little bit towards the right. It doesn't have to be too much, just a slight turn. We're just really making sure that we're using breath and the musculature of your own core system and torso here to help you turn, even just a little bit. So I'm kind of looking out at that angle. Now we can take this free hand, reach across the body, and just hold on to the right knee or thigh, really just to hold you in place. We really want to make sure we're not having the hand here first and pulling ourselves into the pose. But again, turning on your own accord, here just to anchor yourself in place. Just hold here for several breaths. And don't feel like you have to turn too far. Just a mild rotation is sufficient for this exercise. All right, now, same thing as we get out of the pose. We want to make sure we have plenty of spaciousness between each vertebra. We're going to inhale, get nice and tall. I'm using that back hand, lifting up. Exhale, pull belly button in. That's just our nice core strengthening and support. And then we can free this hand and open up. You can just go ahead and bring both hands to the front and rest them on your knees or thighs. Then you can kind of relax here for a moment as we then prepare for the other side. Take a breath. All right, so keep this in mind as we go to the second side, but also as we move through these other twisting poses in our practice today. All right, let's take the left hand, place it behind you or by your side, use your spider's legs, and just push into the floor. Inhale. Exhale, draw belly button in. We're just going to present the right hand here. Inhale again, nice and tall. Exhale of your own accord, pull belly in, slight turn to your left, and really just stop when you just feel that natural stop, not needing to force yourself to go any further. And then we'll anchor this by placing the hand on the opposite knee or thigh, just to hold you in place. Now we're just going to hold here. I'm still maintaining a lengthened spine. I'm not moving necessarily. If anything, I'm moving up. Nicely extended spine. And of course the breath is moving. Inhale to rise up, fill up your lungs, and the exhale, just a gentle pull of the belly button in towards spine to help support your posture. 2 more breaths here. Reminder, this is soft flow. We don't have to turn too far to experience the benefit of the pose. All right, inhale, get nice and tall, making space. Exhale, pull belly in. Let's release the hand and open up nice and tall here. And then we'll relax the hands on the lap. Very good. All right, so we did some rotations. Now let's do a couple of back bends and forward folds. Using the same spider's legs, we're going to bring the hands behind us here. Roll the shoulders back just to help open up through the chest. Even tip your chin up a little bit. We're just trying to open up through this section of the body across the chest. Inhale, press into the floor. It's the same idea. We're pushing down to lift up, lengthening through the spine. We have the slight arch back, and that's fine. Fill up your lungs. Exhale, pull belly button in. We're going to add one more action. Inhale, press into the floor with the hands. Feel breath rise, fill up your lungs. Exhale, pull belly button in and squeeze your shoulder blades together behind you. So really now feel the full activation of your upper body. Hands, arms, shoulders drawn back, heart opening, breath rising, filling up your lungs. Engaged belly or abdominal system and upper back. One more breath. And then lower your chin so you're looking directly forward. And you can walk your hands towards yourself. Once again, just place them on your lap and just pause for a moment. So that's our back bend. Now we'll take a forward fold. If your legs are crossed here, we're going to uncross the legs and just change our posture to a cobbler's pose or bound angle pose. Just place the soles of your feet together here. The knees will be bent and kind of pointing out to the side. Don't worry if they don't touch the floor because they don't have to touch the floor. This is where your blocks will come in handy. If you don't have blocks, use some small pillows or even some hardbound books. And just place them underneath the knees. Hold on to your ankles or shins. Inhale, sit up as tall as can be. Now instead of pushing into the floor, which you could do with the hands, I'm just holding on to my legs here and kind of get this pull action. Sit up tall. Inhale. Exhale, pull belly in for control and support. Hinge forward from your hips, but lead with your heart and your chin slightly forward like this. Inhale, keep that full extension of spine, lifting and lengthening. Exhale, maybe hinge forward a little bit more. We'll just stop right here. We really don't have to go too far. We'll, at first, just maintain the lengthened spine. You might start to feel a slight sensation of a stretch type quality in the inner legs. If you want to go a little deeper, I would suggest just lower your chin a little, even let the back round a little, and then fold. So it doesn't feel like you're forcing your body into the pose, nor are you overwhelming the body by creating a strong sensation that doesn't feel quite good. We're just going to hold here. Now with the rounded back, you might even feel a stretch quality through your back body, in addition to the stretch in the inner legs. Let's take 2 more breaths. Ready to come out of the pose? Let's start by re-extending the spine. Just lift your chin a little bit. That should be just enough to help that re-extension of the back body. You might place your hands on the floor, push into the floor to help lift yourself up until you're nice and tall in your seat. We'll just pause here for a moment. All right, let's go ahead and move our props and get ready for our next pose. We're going to come to our hands and knees. Just going to swing the legs around back. This is where your padding will come in handy, like your blanket or a towel. I'm just going to open mine up to a long rectangle so I can place the knees here at the end and the hands at the other end. Cat and cow poses, 2 poses that flow together. It starts with cow pose, which is an inhale, where you just tip the chin up and look forward. You even feel like your heart is moving forward and you're creating a back bend, so an arched back, and your pelvis is tipping back like this. Exhale, starting with the tail end here, tuck the tailbone under, pelvic tilt under. Feel your belly button pull up towards your spine. Notice the rounding of the back. Your head will lower, so chin will come towards chest. This is cat. Inhale, again, start with the back end. Feel the pelvis tip back. Belly drops, there's the back bend, heart opens, look forward. Exhale, back end first. Tuck the tailbone under. Pull belly button up. Chin to chest, rounded spine. And just continue with this nice gentle flow. Some more conditioning for the spine and even your pelvis. Because as we do twisting poses, it's really those two major body parts that are affected. Your spine, of course, and your pelvis. The pelvis really just signals to you how deep you can take your rotations. If you have tight hips, then your rotations may not be that deep, or you may not turn that far. That's probably another way of saying that. And of course, this is also good core conditioning as we do our twists. Finish the breath that you're on, and take 2 more. And when you're finished, just pause here in a neutral tabletop position. Take a breath. Go ahead and crawl off of your pad. We'll set it to the side for now. Come back to your hands and knees. We'll set up for downward facing dog. So first, if your hands are directly underneath your shoulders like mine are, just step your hands forward a little bit, and as you step them forward, just be sure you spread out your fingers pretty wide, just to create a good base underneath you. Also, it creates a nice stretch between each finger. Then lean into the hands, or press your hands firmly down into the mat. Feel as if you're trying to push yourself away from the mat. That should lengthen the arms, straighten them quite nicely, and strengthen them. Then tuck your toes under. Inhale, let's create that cow pose. That's the back bend like we did earlier. Exhale, round it into cat pose. Hold cat, and then lift knees off of your mat. Send your hips up into the air. Feel the chest to kind of sink between the arms. Now you might need to adjust your feet. I like to tiptoe forward a little bit. I even like to take my hands a little wider. Keeping the knees very bent here. That will allow the hips to lift a little higher and my chest sinks lower. Now, you may not get the exact same position as I am, but just move in the way that feels good to you. All right, now let's take a few steps forward with the feet to the center of the mat until your feet are underneath you, and then slide your fingertips toward your toes. You'll be in a forward fold for now. Then inhale, slide your hands up to your shins or knees. We're going to hold here on the exhale, so we've only lifted up halfway, creating this flat tabletop position. So be sure your feet feel firm on the floor, well balanced, a good bend in the knees. The legs are engaged here to help hold you in place. And we've drawn this straight line through the upper body. Your tailbone feels like it's moving to the back wall, the top of your head moving towards the front wall. We're inhaling, still extending the spine in these opposite directions. The exhale, we're still pulling the belly button up towards spine. 2 more breaths here. Half forward fold. Then shift your weight a little bit back into the heels so you can easily tap your toes or wiggle your toes. Bend your knees and lower your hips. Meanwhile, you're lifting your chest to about 45 degrees here. As you're able, take your arms out to the side. Keep pushing the heels of your feet into the floor so you can straighten the legs, stand up nice and tall, reach all the way up. Nice stretch. Exhale, arms come down to your side. We've made it to our first standing position. Let's go ahead and roll those shoulders a little bit. Circle them back a few times, and then forward. All right, we're going to do a simple sequence. It's just a half or a half salute to the sun, where we fold forward and come right back up, taking our time, of course. Let's start at mountain pose. Nice and tall, just arms down by your side. Inhale, extend the arms out and up. Feel that nice lengthening through the sides of your body. Exhale, arms out to the side at the same time. Bend your knees and imagine you're sitting back into a chair that's behind you. You can even bring your hands to your knees or thighs. And just continue to slide down the legs. I'm just sliding down the shins to my ankles. Release head, neck, and shoulders. And that's our forward fold. Inhale, come up to halfway. Slide your hands up the legs. Maneuver yourself until you are parallel to the floor. Again, feet are solid on the floor, bent knees, active legs, long spine parallel to the ground. Shifting weight into the heels, bend your knees, lower your hips, lift upper body. You can even press hands into your thighs to help you stand nice and tall. Then inhale, extend your arms all the way up. Reach high, exhale, arms return to your side. Very good. And maybe another circle for the shoulders. We're getting the shoulders ready for our next pose, which is called reed pose. Think like of a field of wheat, okay? And all of those nice flowing reeds blowing in the wind, okay? So really kind of create that sensation in the body. And it's an opportunity to lengthen the sides of the body again. Together, let's inhale, reach all the way up, and as you're able, interlace your fingers here at the top, but let your index fingers point straight up. As best as you can, straighten your arms as you inhale and reach straight up. On the exhale, just tip a little bit to your right, just a little bit to your right, just a tiny bit like this. I like to think of this like a hand on a clock, and you just went 2 or 3 minutes after the hour. Inhale, keep reaching up to that minute mark. Exhale, tip a little bit more, just 1 more minute past the hour. And just hold here, just feel that natural stretch that's happening down through the right side of your body. It's probably your left side of the body. We're going to inhale and come right back up nice and tall. Let's relax the shoulders and hands. On the exhale, just bring the arms back down. If you want, you can kind of shake all that out. Let's do the other side. Let's inhale, extend the arms into the air again. Interlace the fingers, index fingers pointing up. Inhale, reach up as best as you can. And the exhale, now tip to your left. Maybe 2 or 3 minutes before the hour. We're going backward in time. Inhale, keep reaching up to that minute mark. Exhale, take 1 more minute back into the past. Until you just feel this natural stretch now through the right side of your body. Now it's your right side. All right. And you really don't need to go too far. Now, it may look like I'm tipping over quite a bit, but I'm really not. I'm really just paying attention to what it feels like in my body, and this feels just right. All right, coming back up on the inhale. Release the fingers, exhale, arms return to your side. And let's relieve the shoulders. Big circles. If you want, kind of shake things out. Another thing we like to do in standing in our soft flow practice is to do a variation of Warrior 1. So let's go ahead and do that, because this will also help condition the sides of the body and start to get into the hips a little bit. So facing forward, mountain pose. Let's start with a good bend in the knees. Shift your weight over to your right foot. I'm going to lean forward slightly so my left foot feels light. Peel the heel off the floor and just tap the leg back or tap the foot back until the leg just kind of stops back here. Now with my arm here, I'm just going to kind of mimic what the leg is doing. The leg and arm is going to open up like this. We'll just turn the leg, turn the arm, and just plant the heel into the floor. How the whole body shifts back so you're well balanced right here. Now we need to extend the spine. We do that by placing the hands on the hips. You're going to feel like you're pushing your pelvis down. Just like when you're pushing into the floor, you're going to help extend the spine. Yes? Now you're nice and tall. It also creates a little space in the waistline so you can then turn to face forward a little bit. In a way, it's a mild rotation because of this leg back behind us. Now, inhale, extend the arms straight up, and the exhale, bend the elbows or bend the arms here so they're at 90 degrees. So here's our variation of Warrior 1. We're getting a little bit of length to the side of the body, and with this left leg back behind us, you're going to feel a slight release and stretch right through here, your hip flexor. Now when we get to the second version of this pose, you'll feel this a little bit more perhaps. This is just kind of a warm-up. Inhale, re-extend the arms straight up. Exhale, bring the arms down to your side. You can place hands on hips again. Lean forward, put weight into this front foot. So we can lift that back heel, turn the leg back in. See how my arm went? Turn in. A little bend of the knee to push, step forward, feet together. And then inhale, re-extend both arms up into the sky. Exhale, arms return to your side. So that's our variation of Warrior One. Let's set up for the other side. Start by softening the knees, keep the bend in the knees. Shift your weight into your left foot now. Lean forward just a little bit. Peel the right heel up off the floor. Tap the foot back, sending the leg back until it naturally stops. That back leg is still doing the same thing, it's just going to open up. Okay, opening, plate, shifting so your center here. Knees are kind of soft. Place hands on hips. Push down. Same time, feel torso lift and extend. That's our spinal extension. It makes space across the belt line so we can turn to face forward. There's our light twist and stretch for the right hip flexor. Inhale, extend the arms straight up. Exhale, bend elbows to 90 degrees for our variation of Warrior One. We'll hold here for a moment. Take a few breaths. Then we're ready to move. Inhale, extend the arms straight up. Exhale, let's bring the arms back down. Place hands on hips. Lean forward, put pressure into this front foot so that back foot feels light. We can lift, turn that leg in. You're on your toes. All 10 toes are pointing forward. Little bend of the knee to push, step forward, feet together. Inhale, reach both arms all the way up. Exhale, arms return to your side. Very good. While we're standing, let's do one more pose here. Let's do a chair pose with a twist. Here, you might need a prop. So if you've got a block, or even a pillow, a small pillow will do just fine, because you're going to place that prop between the thighs, just above the knees, something to squeeze and hold on to. It's a reminder that we're always kind of hugging in towards center, center being your spine, but also in this case, it's going to stabilize the pelvis. We want to keep this part from the waistline down, all the way down to the feet, facing forward. We're only going to turn or twist the upper body. All right, just work with me here. I'm going to turn this way. Inhale, extend the arms straight up into the air. Exhale, imagine you're sitting back into a chair. You're going to bring your hands to your heart. Now, I didn't go down too deep. If you want to, you can sit back and down a little deeper, but really not necessary. We really just have this nice angled upper body, sending the hips back a bit, and then we're going to rotate. Okay, first make sure you got a solid grip of your prop between the thighs. Hips are going to remain just like this. They're not going to move, or just very minimally. Inhale, extend through the spine. You always want to keep that lengthening. Exhale, pull belly button in, squeeze your block, and then a mild rotation to your right. All right, just like the other poses or the other rotations we've done already, these twists don't have to be too big, okay? Meaning you don't have to turn or twist too far. So I'm kind of turning towards you, okay, but it's not very much. I can look down and see my knees. They haven't moved, they haven't shifted. That means the hips have also not shifted. All right, breathe in. Exhale, return to center. I'm going to place hands on thighs just to push, to assist myself back up to standing. And then inhale, get the arms back up into the air, just to lengthen through the sides of the body. Exhale, arms return to your side. It's kind of a way of getting back to normal or neutralizing the body after being in that twist. Let's do the other side. Here we go. Find that length by extending the arms up. Exhale, sit back into the imaginary chair, and then bring your hands to your heart. Sitting back, not too deep. Inhale, extend through the spine. Exhale, pull belly button in for support. Squeeze your block to stabilize the lower half of the body, and then mildly twist to your left. And again, just turning or rotating until you naturally stop. It doesn't have to be too far. Take a couple of breaths here. Very good. conditions the obliques through the sides of the body. Nice way to strengthen and condition your core system. Let's breathe in, and exhale, we'll unwind. Hands on thighs, push to help assist your own body to stand up tall. Re-extend the sides of the body by reaching both arms up into the air. Exhale, arms down to your side. All right, very good. We're finished with our block. Let's carefully fold or bend to place the block back down onto the ground. That's all of our standing postures. Let's go through a sun salutation, a full sun salute, and of course we'll break it down. We'll be adding that second version of Warrior One. Inhale, reaching both arms up into the air. Exhale, spread your wings, sit back into that imaginary chair like we just did, but we're going to keep on going. You can place hands on knees or thighs, slide down the shins until you reach your forward fold. This might feel quite good on the spine, especially after those twists. Inhale, slide the hands up the shins a little bit to help extend the spine. This exhale, we're going back down. Slide down, bend the knees more so you can set your hands on the floor out in front of you. Spread out your fingers as best as you can. Just start walking or stepping the feet back to the back end of your mat. Lower your hips so they're about shoulder level, and we're in plank pose. A nice strong posture for the body. Breathe in here, then exhale. Bend your knees a lot, then send your hips right up into the air. We're just coming back to a downward facing dog like we did earlier. Adjust your feet, adjust your hands. Make sure your knees stay very bent. Lift the hips a little higher. Relax your head. We're going to lift the right foot and leg into the air, but first, step your left foot to center on the mat. This will help you balance. Then pick up your right foot, extend the right leg back behind you as you inhale. Get it as straight as can be. It doesn't have to lift high. Exhale, bend this right knee up quite a bit. Bring the right knee in underneath you towards your chest or chin. Shift your whole upper body forward until your shoulders are over your wrists. And then just set the right foot down, just your toes. And then set your left knee down. Now we're doing this in case you can't get your foot all the way up to this right hand. This is a nice variation. I'm shifting back a bit, taking the weight off the hand so I can lift my right hand. I'm reaching back to literally grab my right ankle, pick up the foot, and place it up a little higher. So it's now just behind my right wrist. Ready to continue. Lift the left knee, turn that left leg out, planting the whole foot onto the floor. But there's a lot of weight forward here still, so I like to walk the hands back, pull the hips back so I can put more weight into this back foot. Make sure your right knee is very bent. It's pointing forward and your toes are pointing forward. I'm going to walk up the leg, bringing both hands up to my thigh. Push to lift and extend the torso. So I'm at 45 degrees. You can take your arms out to the side as you're able. Rise up, reach up into the air. Exhale, bend this front knee a little. Now we've made it to our second version of Warrior One. Now you're getting probably more of that lengthening sensation through the left side. There's more distance between the feet. This back leg is opening up. Because we're facing forward and the leg is going the other direction, it's a mild twist, and there's that stretch in the hip flexor. Great for twists, opening up through the hips. Okay, breathe in, follow me. Exhale, turn your torso towards the left side of your room and bring your arms down to parallel. Now we're in Warrior Two. I'm going to relax the arms briefly here because I'm going to keep rotating this right leg out. This just feels a bit more natural for the leg. Re-extend the arms so they're parallel. Side angle pose. Let's reach forward a little bit to angle the upper half of the body. Rotate the arms here. Bring the right hand or arm to the inner right leg. Give it a little nudge, like you're actually trying to move it to the wall on the right side of you, while the left hand reaches straight up into the air. So a nice opening across the chest. Also a great hip opener here too. Let's continue with the side stretch, just by bringing this left arm closer to the left ear. And I'm turning the palm so it's kind of pointing down towards the floor. And then you're going to feel that stretch. Okay, breathe in. As we exhale, come back up. Bring both arms just kind of down to your side. Start to turn to face forward. Arms up, out in front of you. Flick the palms up and then fold. So you can catch yourself onto your hands. Rise up onto your tiptoes behind you here, just like this. Let's go ahead and add another twist while we're here. Hopefully a block or two is nearby. So I'm going to bring in both blocks here, over where my left hand is. And then rise up and place my hands on my stacked blocks. Now if you do have blocks, you might be able to actually turn these a little higher. I'm going to turn this top one a little higher, place my palm on it, which allows me to lift a little higher. I'm doing this on purpose so I have a lot of space in my torso, especially around the belt line, because I'm going to start twisting to that side of the room, towards this right wall. So I'm bracing myself here. Crown, or the top of the head, is pointing forward. Active back leg. Just be sure this knee isn't bent, but it's lifting. Right arm out to the side like an airplane wing. Inhale for these extensions. Exhale a mild turn to your right until you naturally stop. So we've turned this pose, this side angle pose, to a revolving side angle pose. You might feel this in your hips, your legs, and your torso. Breathe in. Exhale, we're going to unwind. Coming down to the floor, releasing my grip really on these blocks, and just move them over to the right side of my mat. Plant the hands on the mat, spread out your fingers. Lean to put weight into the hands. So I can slide the right foot back, return to plank pose. Let's take a little break here. Let's bring the knees to the floor, right here. And then just kind of scoot a little bit to the right edge of your mat. Just a little bit to the right edge of your mat so you have a lot of space on your left side. We're going to sit back carefully to hero pose. Now we're going to do another little twist here, which is going to affect not only your torso, your core, but also your hips. Now I like to take a blanket or even a block, but I think the blanket's going to work better for me here, and place it on my left side. Because what we'll do from here is actually slide off to the left, your hip to the floor or a pad. I'm using my blanket here to my left side. Alrighty, so your hips are now a little bit displaced. Now both hands are on my left side. Let's go back to our spider's legs. Push into the floor to sit up as tall as you can, even though we're kind of sitting at this funny little angle. I'm just bracing my right hand on the outer left thigh. My left hand is doing the work to help me sit up tall. I can already feel a nice stretch here. We're going to rotate a little bit to the left. So inhale, once again, get as tall as can be. Exhale, a slight rotation. Feel like you're trying to turn from down here, rather than just turning your head, turn your low body, low torso. And right there feels good. Notice where you feel this and what do you feel. We get this torso rotation. You might feel these light stretches kind of in your low back, maybe the sides of your body. This, of course, is affecting your core and your hips because of the displacement. Not in a bad way, hopefully in an okay way. All right, to get out of the pose, rather than trying to kind of get back up onto our heels, try this with me. Since we're facing the left, use your hands and crawl over to the left. That should soften things up. And then crawl up to the top of your mat. I'm going to move my blanket out of the way here. For now, I'm just going to move it up to the top of the mat and just return to center on your mat. Let's go back to our cat and cow flow. Inhale, tip the chin up, open the heart, there's our back bend. Exhale, round it out. This should feel really good, especially after that little, what I'm going to call a little mermaid pose, that mermaid twist. Nice reconditioning here. All right, that was a big sequence, and let's get set up for the other side. Once again, let's step the hands forward, spread out your fingers, lean into your hands, strong straight arms, tuck toes. Another cat-cow, starting with cow of course. Inhale, arch the back. Exhale, round your back, and then lift your knees off the mat, send your hips into the air. Adjust your feet and your hands for greater stability of your pose. Make sure the knees stay quite bent, lift the hips a little higher, sink the chest. We're going to extend the left leg into the air, but to stabilize, step your right foot to center on your mat. Then pick up your left foot. Inhale, extend the left leg straight back. Not concerned about the height, more concerned about the length and extension and energy. As we exhale, bend this left knee, bring it in underneath you. This is good hip work also. Shifting forward. Shoulders over wrists. Set the left foot down. Set the right knee down. Pull the weight back so you can free your hands, especially your left hand. Let's go get the left ankle, pick up the foot, place it up higher on the mat. It's going to create our wider stance. Replant the left hand, relift the right knee, turn that back foot so it's on the floor. Step your hands back, pull the hips back so we can actually put more weight into that back foot. Ensure your left knee and toes are pointing forward and your left knee is bent. Hands on the thigh, climb up the body here so you can easily, hopefully, extend the spine. We're feeling like you're going forward. Just take the arms out to the side, rise up. Now we're perpendicular to the floor. Reach up as you inhale, exhale, just bend this left knee. Here's our second version of Warrior One, now on the left side. Noticing what's happening in the hips and the hip flexor. Ready for the next pose. Take a breath in. Exhale, now turn torso towards the right side of the room. Arms come down to parallel. Arriving in Warrior Two. Relax the arms a bit. I'm just going to continue rotating the right leg out for a more natural positioning of this whole leg, particularly in the hip. Re-extend the arms, Warrior Two. Side angle. So we reach out. This is how we're creating the angle of this pose, and then rotate the arms. So left hand or left arm, braced against the inner left leg, feeling like it's moving towards the left side of your room, reaching right arm straight up. Side angle pose. Remember, we're going to revolve or twist this pose. Breathe in, and exhale. Let's lift back up. Bring the arm down. Turn your torso so you're mostly facing forward. Take the arms out in front, parallel to the floor. Flick the palms up, and then fold. Hands down to the mat, or even just your spider's legs, your fingertips. All right, I'm gonna bring in those blocks again. Okay? Here, planting my right hand on the block. I'm gonna turn that right leg in, so I'm on my toes, heel is lifted. It just aligns the hips, helps to align the spine, crown pointing forward. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing I did on the other side. I feel quite low here, so I'm gonna turn my block up one notch so I can push into the block with my hand, straightening this arm, helping to lift my upper body. Then extend the left arm out to the side, and then start to rotate, and just pausing there. I feel like I'm finished with the pose right here. I really feel this. Strong legs, you can feel this maybe in the outer hip, rotation of the torso. There's this arm. Inhale. And exhale, we'll unwind. Let's bring the left hand to the floor. Let's get the weight off the blocks. We're done with those, set them to the side. Get the hands out front, flat, spread out fingers. Lean into the hands, push, so I can slide the left foot back. Plank pose. And we're going to gently set the knees onto the floor. Scoot over to your left edge of the mat. I'm going to bring my blanket back over here so it's ready to go. Sitting back into what's called hero pose. Kind of opens the knees, your thighs, your shins, and your ankles. Not here long because you're going to shift your hips to sit on that right side. I'm I'm using my blanket. You can use a block or a pillow if you need to. Just in case you need a little extra support or height, all right? So you don't feel too displaced, so it doesn't feel like your hips are getting too wonky there. Alrighty, but nice and tall. So both hands on my right side, propped up on my fingertips, push to sit up nice and tall. This left hand is just braced on the outer right thigh. Inhale nice and tall. Exhale, same thing of your own accord. Try to turn from the belly towards the right. Just a little bit is fine, because you're already activating the body and creating nice sensations. So you may not need to turn too much to create more sensation. And a few breaths here. Pay attention to what's happening in your body. Hips, your low belly, the sides of your body, your breath. Same maneuver to come out of the pose. Just walk your hands to the right. That'll start to soften things up. Press to lift yourself up to the top of the mat here, hands and knees. And then you can scoot so you're at center again, and then cat-cow. Getting the spine and the hips back to their neutral moving action. Two more breaths. And then just pause. All right, we're on the floor. Let's just continue doing some work on the floor. Sit back briefly in hero. We are going to sit off to the side, but this time swinging the legs around to the front here. Scoot a little bit so you're sitting in the center of your mat. You want some room behind you because we're going to lie down. And you want your blocks right next to you so your hands can easily grab them. Carefully roll down onto your back. Feel free to bring your knees with you towards your chest. And maybe just add some movements here. This might feel great for your low back and your hips. Maybe some movement in your feet, since the feet are free right here. I'm going to move into a supported bridge pose, which is a back bend, but a mild one. All right, so let's go ahead and place the feet onto the floor, right underneath the knees. Make sure you can easily grab one or two blocks. One should be fine for this. Inhale, fill up your lungs. Exhale through your mouth, blowing out the air. Feel the air leave your belly. You're engaging your core. Press feet into the earth. Lift your hips. Slide your block underneath you. This could also be a big cushion too. And then just sit. So it's a nice relaxing kind of back bend here. Not a whole lot of activation in the body, but forming something that kind of resembles a back bend. So we're getting a little bit more opening in the front side of the body. Chest, belly, hips, and even your thighs. Let's just hold here for several breaths. Let's go ahead and just take 3 more breaths. What we'll do is actually really activate this back bend. So feel how this is somewhat relaxing, and then how we're just going to kind of flip the switch, turning it on, making it a little bit more activated. So this is what we'll do. As you exhale, press feet into the floor, lift your hips high enough, move your block, keep the hips lifted. You're going to feel your glutes engage, maybe your hamstrings, thighs, maybe across the belt line. 1, 2, 3, and then lower your body slowly to the ground. So that was our activation. Go ahead and extend the legs out front, and go ahead and extend the arms behind you.
So we can get that nice stretch through the entire body, keeping the good length through the sides of the body, and of course the lengthening of the spine. All right, go ahead and bring your arms down to your side. Just pause for a moment. We're going to move into our final twisting pose. Just a spinal twist. Spinal twist. Bend your knees. Bring the knees into your body. Catch your knees with your hands. We're going to carefully send the knees over to the left side of the room. Now, if you need to or want to, you can use a prop for this, a book or a block. Place it on the floor on the left side. So when the legs come down, the legs actually stop right there on the block. And then if you have a second prop, like a pillow or even a rolled up blanket, you can even place it between the knees. Now this is going to resemble perhaps some of the other rotations where we were like sitting, for example, and rotated, but we didn't turn too far. This is kind of resembling that. Because if we allowed the legs to go all the way to the floor, which you may be able to do comfortably, but it may feel a little strained. So this is a nice thing as an option to modify that full rotation. So we've got the knees to the left. Let's extend the right arm behind, reaching for the wall behind you so you can feel this lengthening through the right side of your body. Now you can keep the hand here or actually just reach out to the right side of the room and let it rest there. Now my blanket happens to be here. There's my blanket. I'm actually just resting my arm on it. So same thing. So the arm over here doesn't have to reach the floor. Sometimes it kind of gets caught in midair. So if you've got something over here to rest it on, that might be ideal. And then one last rotation that we'll do. This is just an option. As far as your focus, you can look straight up or carefully start turning your head towards your right hand. I'm just lifting the head, turning it, putting it back down onto the mat until I just feel where it's most comfortable and not strained. With the head turned, we are still working the spine. In this case, it's the cervical spine. That's the neck area. And as we work down the spine, the upper back, that's the thoracic. And as we work all the way down, perhaps to the lower back, that's our lumbar. All right, let's turn the head to look up. I'm going to lift the knees, bring them back to center, set the feet down, and just come back to this neutral position for a moment. And we'll get set up for the other side. You can draw the knees in. Start slowly taking the knees over to the right side. I'm going to use my block over here. Since my blanket is here, I'm going to take my blanket and place it between the knees. Just a nice soft prop there. There we go. Extend the left arm behind. Reach, nice extension through the left side of the body. And then out to the left side. Since my block is here, I'm just going to go ahead and let my arm rest on the block. This actually feels good, because then it doesn't feel like I'm straining my shoulder at all. My neck is neutral. I'm looking straight up. I'm going to gently, gradually start turning my head to the left. And right about here feels good for the cervical spine and the neck area. And take several breaths. So this is basically our twisting yoga practice today in soft flow. Very beneficial for your spine, your core system, and your hips. Just turn the head back up to neutral, look straight up, turn the knees back up, hug the knees into your body, and then extend the legs out front. Feel free to extend the arms behind you for one more stretch through the entire body, and then finish with your arms down by your side. Shavasana. Let's relax the whole body. Start with your feet. Let your feet just naturally turn out, which means your legs are turning out, settling into the mat, sinking, melting. Then even turn your arms out so your palms are facing up. Settle into your posture and see if you can come to complete stillness here. You might take a few deep breaths. Breathe in through your nose. Exhale through the mouth. One more time. Exhale. Just as we did at the beginning of the practice, we're focusing on the breath, bringing us to the present moment, mindful of what's happening here inside of ourselves, letting go of all those distractions outside of us. But moving through the practice, hopefully we've also been able to release any distractions from within us. This really allows us to settle in more completely into meditation as we lie here in Shavasana. Feel free to stay here as long as you'd like, especially if you feel quite comfortable, and really indulge in this meditative moment. Stay here even as I end the practice if you so desire. Ready to move. Rather than moving right away, start with the movement of your breath. Take 5 slow, deep breaths. Fill up your lungs. Release. Feel your breath. Listen to the sound of your breath. Stay in the moment. Stay relaxed as best as you can. Even as you're generating energy in the body, preparing yourself to move. And then after your 5th breath, move as slowly as you can. I'm bending my knees, planting the feet into the mat so I can maneuver my turn or twist or roll to my left side. Pressing into the ground with my hands to lift myself up, and then come to seated. Here I'm going to sit on my block, crossing the legs, just as we did at the beginning of practice. Use your spider's legs here, your fingertips, push into the floor, fully extended spine. Inhale as you do so. Exhale, draw belly in to support the body in this lengthened spine condition. Maybe rest your hands on your legs, or feel free to bring hands to heart center. Wherever you are, take one more breath in, fill up your lungs. Complete exhale. Now, as we come to the close of our practice together, we bow saying, Namaste.
Thank you so much for watching and participating in this yoga lesson. To help us with the channel so we can continue to bring you more content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's really appreciated. Namaste.